Hello everyone, Ron here from RJJ's Reactions, and I am back with Chonny Jash, and this is a much requested song, a newer one I believe, 20XX, at least that's the way I'm saying it, that's the way it's printed. We'll see what he says during the song. I haven't listened to the song yet, but I did pull up the lyrics to get ready to go through the lyrics, because he wrote the lyrics I believe, and because the word program doesn't like spellings and lines in lyrics or poetry or things, so to get rid of all the underlining and everything, I had to go through. So I did see quite a lot of the lyrics. I didn't read all of them, but I do get the gist of what this is about. So we'll see what the video looks like and what it tells us as well. Extract more meaning from that, but I get what it's talking about. Hopefully it doesn't lose me too many viewers. Be strong and be open, be willing to change, be willing to at least accept that there are different people in the world. And after all, I am LTL Tutoring Central. It's my real business that I've done for 27 years, teaching people, and I have had to learn and change in many ways as the years have gone on also. So it's important to try to stay open. It doesn't mean you have to be so open that your brain falls out. So you don't have to be too open. I think sometimes things go too far and then they bounce back again. But I'm going to talk more about that later, because I had an interesting conversation last night with one of my older student, not older, I shouldn't say older, he's a high school student, but he's not 8, let's say. He's an older teenager, asking questions about this very topic, and I'll let you know a little bit of what I said there. Okay, so we're going to get into Chonny Jash, but before we do, if you don't mind pushing that subscribe button, that helps the channel a lot. Check in the description below if you want to donate to the channel. There are a couple of ways to do that: buy me a coffee, PayPal donation, and you can bump up your requests too. You can check that out there, and there will be a link to Chonny Jash's channel so you can support the artist too. All right, let's go. When I just hold my, I don't really have a mouse, but whatever you call this thing, the pad, over on the video, I can see there's lyrics popping up. So I'm going to put myself up here in the corner, and hopefully that will keep me out of the way. But if it doesn't, I'll apologize in advance. I can't adjust these screens, as I've said before, but you might not have watched my other videos. This software doesn't let me do that. All right, let's go. 20XX, I believe.
One, two, three, four. 20XX. What you want me to tell you? She's already here to start out of your centuries. Have 100 Ds can do a number on the progressive. It's only fine if it's lying behind my line. At your time, now the pulpit and mic is mine. And I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I don't see the need to be so perturbed. It's okay, I swear it won't hurt. And when you open your eyes, you'll see a whole new technical world.
I'm not quite sure what to say about the music. To be honest, it's more of a storytelling, not even a story really, but I mean more of an informative telling. Yeah, so yeah, I really don't know what to say about the music per se. It's okay, but I don't know how to analyze it or what to say about it. But I think the lyrics and the information, or at least the intent to open up, is probably the most important.
And when you open your eyes, you'll see a whole new technical world. You'll see it. As long as it's someone with pay. As long as it's safe and try. As long as it's simple and formulaic. Let's just show 7 to 15 men all basic. I'm really feeling for the people who pry at me. I guess I'm making good, I'm not giving top priority. Pretty easy, pretty does, but that don't mean that I know to serve.
Yeah, if I wasn't reading some of the lyrics, and they're going pretty quick, so it's difficult to keep up. I wouldn't be able to I wouldn't be able to distinguish most of them. The voice is sort of in behind some of the music, and it's very difficult to understand. Maybe that was intentional. So they listen to the song several times without understanding the lyrics, and maybe you really like the song, and then when you finally come to find out what the lyrics are about, maybe it forces you to still like it because you already like it, right? It's like a lot of people who don't like a certain group of people, pick any group, it doesn't matter, because they've never met them, or they've never actually been friends with them, or they never actually had to work with them or deal with them. And then when they do, they find that all their prejudice and biases shift because I got a friend now that's pick a group, and that can change a lot. So here we have a muscle man, not dressed as a muscle man, so of course playing with gender roles and preconceptions, etc.
Because it's 20XX. All the squares about the time. Now it's the era of the deadline. Just the basics. But there are millions of colors on this planet. So we're gonna run all day again. 20XX. Yeah, you can be the world. So I'm gonna keep it a little bit fun. 20XY. And yeah, they reckon it's dead time.
Always happy to be the emissary of change. I'm always happy to go into tomorrow, forsaken today.
Nice falsetto there again. I think kind of, although lots of men do falsettos, but I think kind of to prove the point that there are differences in people. So if you have a high voice, like Loic Noté, I know that he was teased and tormented in school, or at least that's what I've been told, because of his higher voice. Yeah, because you're supposed to be a man, so your voice isn't supposed to be like that. You're supposed to be a man, so you're not supposed to dress like that, etc. So I think still playing with that here.
I'm always happy to go into tomorrow, forsaken today. But that don't mean that I need you to be
Because it's 20XX. So there's no need to be sure when I start tearing up the Bible. 20XX. Throw up your technical flag one more time in the face. 20XX. Because the present's getting weird now. 20XX. So let's have some fun while we're here. We don't know what happens next year. 20XX.
Yes, we don't know what's happening next year, that's for sure. I'm trying to back up so we see. Okay, well, kind of see. Yeah, what is happening next year? Well, there's an election next year in the US. I'm in Canada actually, but of course what happens in the United States affects the entire world. So we'll see what happens there. I'm not sure if that's what he I don't think that's what he was referring to. I think he's just referring to time in general. We never know any next year, 24, 25, 26, but 20XX. So these things are changing fairly rapidly. or attempting to change fairly rapidly. But of course, there can be a kickback, there can be a reversal, and as there has been some reversals already in America, and there could be more. It's possible. Speaker of the House claims that the Bible is his guidebook. That's a bit scary, for sure. Have you read it? But anyways, I'm not going to get into that too much, but just think about that for a minute. And if you haven't read the whole thing, all of it, not just the good parts, not just the kind and nice parts, but the whole thing, give it a look and see what they do to people who don't agree with you. Yeah, so there's a lot of issues to go on. There's going to be a lot to talk about in the lyrics, and some of it may be uncomfortable. I hope you'll join me, and yeah, I'll try to be as diplomatic as I can be and go through the lyrics carefully because I think they're probably the most important here. The music was chaotic at points, and as I say, it was difficult to understand the voice. I'm not saying that these are bad things. Like I say, maybe it was done intentionally to get people to sort of, because I think you could just listen. If I listened separately, I was trying to follow along the lyrics. If I just sat and listened to the music, then I would probably have a different feel for the music itself. I was having difficulty putting all the pieces together. But maybe it's to kind of get you, yeah, I kind of like this vibrant, chaotic sort of music, and don't get the lyrics, but then later I'll pick them up. Now I've already liked the song. What am I going to do now? All right, let me have a look at the lyrics now. 20XX by Chonny Jash. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. 20XX, please help me see the line you've drawn between blue and pink. I think, therefore I am, therefore I think. So playing with René Descartes' first principle there, the ancient philosopher. Also, please help me see the line you've drawn between blue and pink. So the social construct that blue is for boys, pink is for girls. If you're able to step back and think about it, it doesn't make sense. Why? Why does any color have any gender association at all, apart from a social construct? We just decide it is, and so therefore it is. But we could have decided on other colors. It's plenty arbitrary, yeah, exactly. And yet still you're concerned that he in heels and makeup simply must be a her. So of course that goes a little beyond the color. So to be fair, people who've lived a long time, like me, yeah, it's just very, very different. And the color thing, okay, that's pretty easy to, whatever, who cares? Mind you, when I was in high school, I wouldn't have been caught dead wearing a pink shirt back in the day because, yeah, I had enough issues. I had enough people trying to do things to me when I was a scrawny little kid in high school. I was very young in high school, younger than most students, and very tiny, very scrawny. And, yeah, I didn't need to draw any more attention to me. So he in heels and makeup simply must be a her. So we judge based on color. We judge based on the way a person is dressed, judge on their hairstyle, etc. That was a big thing back in the day too. Still is occasionally, pops up, particularly in religious schools or areas. Because, God forbid, you should have long hair or something if you're supposed to be a man. But I don't really know what you want me to tell you. The future's already here and it's thrown out all your set truths. 100 years can do a number on the progressive. A man in a crop top? Babe, don't be excessive. Change is only fine if it's lying behind my line. You've had your time, now the pulpit and mic is mine. 100 years, so yeah, can do a number on the progressive. Things change all the time, but yeah, I think things are changing maybe faster than they used to. In some ways that's a good thing, in some ways it's not, and it's definitely a scary thing no matter what. And change for change's sake is not always great, but I don't think that's what he's talking about here. I think he's more talking about accepting people the way they are, and they aren't choosing really. They are what they are. Change is only fine if it's lying behind my line. So it's only good if it's within my box. So it doesn't matter whether and labels are very blurry anyway, but whether you're liberal, conservative, or something else, if it agrees with you, then you're okay with it. But if it's outside of your purview, then it's not. So even liberals can get very stuck. And yeah, I'm not going to go there. And I know I'm preaching to the choir, probably, but I don't see the need to be so perturbed. It's okay. You're fine, mate. I swear it won't hurt. And when you open your eyes, you'll see a whole new Technicolor world. I like what they did with the different colors in the word Technicolor when the line came up in the video. Yeah, why not? Why not look at the whole spectrum, not just of color? I know that he's referring here to people. There's all different kinds of people, all different ways they feel, all different ways they think, and we don't have to accept them all. I mean, I'm not keen on mass murderers or people. So it's not like everything is relative, but an awful lot is. I mean, to be honest, does it matter to me very much what a person is wearing, or if someone who appears to be a man wants to be referred to as she, her, or changes their name or whatever, does it really affect me? No, not in any way at all. If they're doing something to me or to other people that's harmful, or even to themselves that's harmful, then yes, I can see that as an issue. But if it isn't, I really don't care. A lot of people ask me, or call me by the wrong name. I don't care. What pronoun do you want to use? Well, I tend to use the traditional, but I really don't care. If someone accidentally or on purpose calls me an it or a she or a her, this is not going to upset me very much. It might have done, well, it would have done probably when I was a kid, but it certainly isn't going to bother me much now. I think we need to get past all of that and not worry about it. If someone's doing it deliberately to aggravate you, that's a different story, because now you know that this person is actually trying to be a you-know-what. But otherwise, if it's just a slip or they just thought that, then I don't care. I might correct them. I might not bother. Lots of times people call me another name accidentally, and if it's a short conversation, I don't even bother. It's like, whatever. But I don't see the need to be so perturbed. It's okay. You're fine, mate. Yeah, I swear it won't hurt. Yeah, I read that already. Technicolor world. Scroll up a bit. You'll see it's 20XX, so 20 something, and the XX is probably referring to chromosomes. Generally, XX, generally speaking, but there's a lot of variety here too. It's XX is for women, XY is for men. Just speaking generally, I know biologists and things can come and attack me. Yeah, you can't be who you want, so I'm a keep it a little default. 20XX. Yeah, you can be coral, mauve, or cayenne and still be a mega man. Yeah, so any color you want, you still be a man, a mega man if you want. You're doing the exercises there. Yeah, you can be who you want, so I'm keep it a little default. I'm not sure if he's talking there about just not rocking the boat, even though you could be any color you want, but sometimes it's easier, simpler to accept the default and just go with that. Be who you are, as long as it's someone that they've picked. Yeah, okay. So again, I think maybe he's talking on both sides here, to both conservatives and liberals. And again, I'm just using simplistic terms, but as long as you're within what I think is acceptable, then it's okay, right? But stay true to your heart as long as it's safe, tried, prosaic. Make it your own. As long as it's simple and formulaic. Litmus tests show that 7 in 15 men are basic. So yeah, he's playing with with the ideas of what's acceptable for any particular group, and there's a limit. I have to kind of say that I would be talking to someone if they were really asking me, which this hasn't happened. I've had lots of young people talk to me about different things, and I definitely have had students who are all the colors, let's say. I'll just leave it like that. But the safety thing is an issue. I think you do need to at least think about that, particularly when you're very young, because I would not want someone to be harmed physically or even killed because of something that they are. But unfortunately, sometimes in certain situations you have to go to the default, and you have to wait or find your way through. At least so far, we're not out of it completely yet. So I would caution sometimes. And that's not because of my own bias. It's just because I want someone to be safe. I don't want them to get hurt. I'm really feeling for the people born prior to me. I guess I'm making good on my given port priority. Fruity is as Fruity does, but that don't mean that I loathe the sir. Dysphoria, I hardly know her. And rumor says the Pan Man is feminine apparel with any audio in either of the stereo channels or anywhere in between. All right. So feel the groove and let the times be absurd. Yeah, I don't know if it's absurd. I think it seems absurd, but I think eventually it will bounce back, and that's sort of what I was talking when I was talking to my student last night who had some issues with all of the different flags and all of the different things that are happening with pronouns and brought up the idea that I think is mostly rumor, but some of you might correct me, with children wanting to be a cat or identify as a dog or something. If this is at all true, which a lot of it I think is stories, urban legends that are getting spread over and over and over, there may be a kernel of truth, but mostly this is fiction. It will bounce back. I think it will bounce back, and people will, young people often want to experiment with things anyways. I mean, it's not unusual. And I've had very young students who pretended they were cats or dogs or whatever, but it doesn't last very long. It bounces back, and then the same thing would go if you're not genuinely whoever you're pretending to be. It will bounce back, and you will become who you are. One would hope, anyway. So I don't think that you really need to get overly concerned about that. And it's just pushing for change that sometimes seems over the top, but it will become more normal over time. I don't think it will be absurd, and I don't think it is absurd. It's just that there's change, and it seems absurd. It's okay, you're right, mate, to keep that line blurred, and if they're looking irate, check the date and let that be heard. This may be demonetized because of the lyrics, but we'll see. Let the times be absurd. Yeah, check the date, and that's sort of what he's playing with as well with the 20XX. Change is coming, change is happening, because it's 20XX. Oh, the squares have had their time. Now it's the era of the bent line. Yeah, you had just 56, but here are millions of colors on this planet, so we're going to run the whole damn gamut. Yeah, okay, so that's a good idea. Yeah, let's just use all the colors. We might as well. The squares have had their time. Squares, I haven't heard that term for a long time. That's an old term he's throwing in here. Yeah, you heard that back in the 60s as well, of course. The squares have got to go, right? So it's not that, again, it's not a new thing. It was for different reasons, but it's not a new thing. Every generation, I think, feels that, at least to some extent, that the older generation doesn't know what the hell they're doing. And the older generation doesn't think the younger one knows what the hell they're doing either. But the truth is, we all know a little bit and we all don't know quite a lot. And so hopefully we keep learning. LTL Tutoring Central. Keep learning. I keep learning all the time. It's important. I think. I think it's important. I think it's healthy, and I think it helps us to get along with one another as well, and with ourselves, hopefully. Yeah, you can be who you want, so I'm keep it a little default, and yet they reckon it's a disguise. 2X chromosomes is a cis guy. I don't know why he says 2X chromosomes is a cis guy, because that's not. I think he's playing around with the terminology and with what is accepted and what isn't. If you have 2X, you have to be. I think that's what he's getting at there, and that's not necessarily true either, because there's a lot that is psychological. There's a lot that is social construct. There is also a lot of other pieces, and I am not an expert in biology, but I have read and heard some. I just not capable of explaining it, but there's alleles and a lot of other things within there. It's not just as simple as XX and XY. That's not it. That's not the whole even biological story, let alone the psychological and social construct story. So there's a lot going on there. That doesn't necessarily mean doesn't necessarily mean that XY is a cis guy, doesn't necessarily mean XX is a cis female, so he's playing with that. I think I said something wrong a few minutes ago, but well, we'll let that slide. I'm always happy to be the emissary of change. I'm always happy to go into tomorrow, forsaking today, but that don't mean that I need to be rearranged. No, I'm happy to stay. And then there's a key change, cough, cough. I'm always happy to go into tomorrow. Okay, that's good. He's always happy to be the emissary of change. That's good. Forsaking today. All right, or yesterday, sort of letting some things go. I think you don't need to let everything go. I think we can learn from today and we can learn from the past, but we also need to know when to cut off pieces that don't make sense anymore, that we have learned new information and we're okay with that. And we don't need to take, what was it, 350 years to admit that we made a mistake in terms of Earth not being the center of our universe. So long it took the church to apologize for that. Because it's 28XX, so there's no need to be shook when I start tearing up the guidebook. Okay. Throw up your Technicolor flag, sing it one more time for the fans. 20XX, go tell the past to bow out because the present's getting weird now. 20XX, so let's have some fun while we're here. We don't know what'll happen next year. I kind of mentioned what'll happen. We don't know what will happen next year in any given year, but especially next year, it looks like some important things might be happening. We'll see what happens there. Interesting, confusing, and weird is not even, I don't even know if there is a word for it. Weird doesn't seem strong enough for what's going on at the moment, but we shall see. Go tell the past to bow out. Again, I think so, yes, certainly parts of the past, but again, trans people and gay people have been around since long before Homo sapiens were Homo sapiens, I expect. I wasn't there at the time, believe it or not, but I'm pretty sure the evidence does seem to be in. There's certainly evidence that lots of animals have different I can't say sexual identities because I don't know how animals think exactly, but there certainly are things in the kingdom. So when they say, well, it's not natural because other animals don't, well, yes, they do. If you grew up in the country, they do. It's not that unusual, actually, to be honest. So try to open if you're not already and be accepting. At the very least, we can be nice to one another. We can be kind and generous and caring. And nobody should be forcing another person to be what they're not on from any side at all. So, and that's, I think, was the issue with my student yesterday, was that it seems like they're pushing and forcing and trying to make everyone become, different, and that's not necessary either. You are who you are, and if you are a straight person, unlike what the Speaker of the House, with his unfortunate last name, which is the same as mine, but as far as I know, no relation, has said that he doesn't have any problem with people who choose a different lifestyle. Well, it's not a choice. You are what you are. If you feel you're straight, my question to you is, when did you choose to be straight? And most straight people go, well, wait a minute, I didn't choose to be. No, of course you didn't. And other people didn't choose to be what they are either. Now, I grant some people play with it and some people try and experiment and, so, but like I say, I think it will always bounce back. They will be who they are. Whatever that is, they'll be who they are. And I'm sure there's lots of other things that are going to come down the pipeline. Some that will stick and stay and become the norm or more the norm, and others that won't. I don't know what they are. I can't see. I don't have a crystal ball, but I think that we have to be open and help one another. I probably talked way too much here, but because it is something that's going on and it's very controversial, and like I say, if viewers have stuck with me through all this, thank you very much. Don't leave. There's no reason to go away and be afraid. We can be accepting of other people. As I say, I have met and worked with lots of people who have many different colors, and they're all great people, the ones that I've known anyway. They all have their flaws, just like I do. Different ones from one another, but we all have flaws. We all have things that aren't right. And if we're more accepting, then I think that they also will be more accepting. I think that they will even be more accepting of slightly square people, slightly off. I'm not sure I was ever a square. I was always looking at other people. I was always looking to find out, why is this person different? What's going on with this person, whatever this person is doing, and just want to know why people do things and why people think things, because I think it's interesting, and I think it's better that we have all different colors and we're all different people. All right. I could talk probably forever, but I'm sure I've already talked way far too long, as I said. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Thank you to all those who already have. If you want to donate, check in the description. Check there for Chonny Jash's link to his channel. And if you hit the notification bell, that helps when videos are blocked as well. So if you want to be notified, then that's the way to do it. All right, it's Ron from RJJ's Reactions. Keep listening, keep having fun. Bye bye for now.